the likes of Slimming World and Weight Watchers are designed purely to make you carry on paying money to Slimming World and Weight Watchers. They teach you how to lose weight following their program, but they don't actually teach you how to eat healthily and improve your relationship with food. Hello folks, and welcome back to another video in my Fit by 40 challenge. I'm Kev, and I started my weight loss journey with 150 pounds to lose. I don't actually have to lose that amount anymore though, because I've already lost some. I'll update you on that a little bit later in the video, but if you're interested in following along with my weight loss journey, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and while you're there, why not leave a nice big thumbs up on the video to show that you're enjoying the little bit of a change in direction on the content we've had on the channel recently. I'm enjoying it for sure, and hopefully you are too. The plan for today's video is we are going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A based around the Fit by 40 challenge, because being a couple of videos deep now, there have been a lot of questions that have come up, and some of them are coming up quite frequently. So I figured let's stick all of them in one big video. I'm going to timestamp the questions down in the description below as well. So if you're only here for specific answers to specific questions, you can jump around the video and find the answers to the ones that interest you. And I guess we can then link back to this in the future, and it can be a place where you can come and find out what you need to know, at least where my mindset was at the start of the journey. Because I imagine some of these answers are probably going to change as time goes on anyway. But before we get into the Q&A, of course, we have the business of this week's weigh-in to attend to. And the good news is I lost more weight again this week, another 4 pounds gone. That exact amount to be specific, with translations depending on where you are in the world, which brings my total weight loss to this, which is awesome. And the other bits that I'm tracking, the updates on them are here as well. And I mean, the blood pressure reading in particular is the lowest I think I've ever known it being, to the point where I'm going to be tracking it every day this week now, because I'm a little bit concerned, because I take 3 medications a day for my blood pressure. And if it gets much lower, I probably need to be getting on the phone to the doctor and saying, what's that all about? But yeah, it's everything is going well. Everything is going in the right direction at the moment. It's been another pretty straightforward week. I'm not hungry. I'm enjoying the intermittent fasting that I've been doing. I think I might be onto something here. This feels like the one that might stick, but I fully acknowledge we're 2 weeks in, and I've said that before, but fingers crossed. We've had a good start. Let's keep the momentum rolling, and let's jump in to the Q&A. Now, as ever, when I do Q&As, I put the question up on the community page a couple of days ago, along with the request for people to leave a thumbs up on the questions they were most interested in hearing the answers to. So I've gone through in order of the most liked questions and picked out the ones that aren't repeating and the most interesting ones to answer. So these are the most popular things that people wanted to know. And weirdly, the one that most people wanted to know the answer to is this one. And I kind of hope the answer will never come up. And it feels very early to be asking this question, and very early for me to be thinking about a potential answer. But the question is, would I consider loose skin removal surgery if I find myself having an excess amount of it after the weight loss? I genuinely haven't even thought about it. I kind of feel like that's something to worry about later down the line if it comes up. I've lost significant amounts of weight in the past and not ended up with loose skin. So I'm not anticipating it being a problem. And even if it is a problem, it's going to be less of a problem than having tight skin full of fat. So I don't know. If it's an issue, then maybe. I've not really thought about it. If it comes up, we'll see, is the best answer I can give on that one at the moment. I'm not entirely sure it would bother me particularly, because like I say, I think being fit and healthy under some loose skin is definitely preferable to not being fit and healthy, from what I can gather. Never experienced though, so who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Will I carry on eating healthily once I've hit my target weight? I'd like to think so. I mean, I've got to hit the weight first, but I'd like to think what I'm doing at the moment is something that is going to lead to a sustainable weight loss, and then sort of a manageable way of living for the rest of my life. I've been very conscious not to go down the route of a fad diet or a crash diet kind of thing this time. I'm looking to operate in a small calorie deficit, which obviously when I hit, let's say when I hit target weight, I can remove the deficit and kind of increase the amount that I'm eating a little bit again. But I would probably still stick to the intermittent fasting. Maybe not all the time, but certainly use it as a tool to keep me close to that maintenance weight as and when it's needed, because I genuinely think it's been a bit of a game changer and has made certainly this first half a stone plus that's disappeared in a couple of weeks. It's been relatively effortless. I've not felt like I was depriving myself. I just felt like it's been an easy way for me to manage some of the mindless snacking I didn't really need to do. I can't eat in the evenings and I don't eat before lunch, and it's pretty simple. And I'd like to think that's something I could carry on doing forever. It's that fabled lifestyle change that people have been telling me that I need to look into doing all these years. Is there a limit of calories that I have to stick to? I'm going to be pedantic about the wording on this one. There isn't a limit of calories I have to stick to. I am choosing to work within a limited number of calories at the moment, because I don't necessarily buy into the science that intermittent fasting on its own is a magical solution, and that I can just skip breakfast, not snack in the evening, but eat 5,000 calories in between and still lose weight. To me, scientifically, I don't see how that makes sense. So I'm using intermittent fasting as a tool to make it easier for me to hit a calorie deficit. So I'm allowing myself around about 2,200 calories a day at the moment, which is quite a substantial deficit. I might lower the deficit if I get to the point where I am feeling hungry a lot, because according to my Apple Health and all that kind of stuff, all the things that track these kind of things, based on my size and my activity levels, my maintenance calories would be about 3,700, 3,800 calories a day. So theoretically, I could drop down to about 3,200, 3,300, be in a 500 calorie a day deficit and still lose weight. To me, it just didn't seem to make sense that I could eat over 3,000 calories a day and lose weight. We might get to the point where we try it at some point. So for now, I've just gone into MyFitnessPal, put all my details in, said I want to lose a couple of pounds a week, and this was the calorie amount it recommended, 2,200. So I'm sticking to that. And to me, doing the intermittent fasting makes it easier to stick to that, because like I showed on my full day of eating that I did last week, doing it this way, I can eat 1,000, 1,100, somewhere between 900 and 1,100 calories for lunch, and then have a really big dinner. And I enjoy eating that way. I like having a big dinner. I like to feel full. By having 900 calories minimum at lunchtime, I'm full all afternoon. I don't get hungry. I don't feel the need to snack. By the time dinner time comes around, I'm hungry again, and then I'm full for the evening off the back of it. I wake up in the morning and I'm full and I'm hungry, but it passes, and I know lunchtime I'll be full again. So I'm sticking to a calorie deficit because I think that's what I need to do to lose weight. But there are schools of thought out there that just the act of fasting will kind of lead you into doing it intuitively and naturally, because you'd struggle to eat 3,000 or 4,000 calories in an 8-hour period. I would suggest I probably wouldn't struggle to eat that amount in an 8-hour period. I mean, if you have a large pizza from Domino's, that's probably 2,000 right there. So I could have that for dinner easily and fill up with a big lunch on the rest of the day as well, you know. So for me, having the calorie limit there just means I'm having to be sensible. I'm not sticking to it rigidly. If I go over one day, I'll just try and be a little bit under the next day, rather than it being a strict, it must be 2,200 calories every single day. I'm tracking it on a 7-day rolling cycle on MyFitnessPal. So I need to be averaging around about 2,200 a day over a 7-day period. So like over this week, there was one day where I probably ended up having close to 3,000 calories, just because we ended up having takeaway because it was convenient. It fitted in with what we were doing that day. And I just dropped down what I was eating for the next couple of days by a couple of 100 calories a day, so that at the end of the week, I still averaged 2,200 over a 7-day period. It allowed me to be a little bit more flexible with it. And I think just the act of tracking all my food and being able to do that is a real big thing for me at the moment. Hello folks, Past Kev here, just with a quick message from this week's episode sponsors, NordVPN. Now, NordVPN is a virtual private network, which is a service that acts as a barrier between you and the rest of the internet. It does that using the magic of encryption and by changing your IP address so it appears that your computer and you are somewhere different in the world, from where you actually are. Now, this has the added benefit of you being able to use the internet as if you were in the country that you select an IP address for. So if you choose an American IP address, you can then access American Netflix amongst other American services that you wouldn't be able to access from wherever else you might be in the world. And as anyone who's ever looked at the differences between UK and US Netflix, you'll know there's a lot more content over there than there is over here. And it's a bit of a game changer being able to watch your Netflix as if you're in America. Now, as you know, I've got a computer science background going all the way back to doing my degree in it way back in the day. So I've been using a VPN for years. I really appreciate the value of being able to encrypt my content and not have anyone else be able to find out what I'm up to. And also, because of the nature of what I do now as a job, I travel around a lot normally, which means I'm often using hotel Wi-Fi, cafes, trains, Wi-Fi that I don't know how secure it is, but by using a VPN, I'm able to add that extra layer of protection to make sure it doesn't matter how secure their internet is. What I'm doing on the internet is secure because of my VPN. Not that I'm doing anything weird on the internet, but these videos don't upload themselves, you know. And on top of all of that, NordVPN are offering you a huge discount for signing up for a 2-year plan using my link at nordvpn.com/Kevin Chapman or using promo code Kevin Chapman to get a massive discount on a 2-year plan plus a free month as well. So what are you waiting for, boys and girls? The link is down at the top of the description. You're getting a big discount. You're getting something for free. And even more important than all of that stuff, you're getting loads of extra protection that you didn't have before. So head down there, click the link, support the channel, and protect yourself online. Win-win. Back to past Kev. What's been the toughest part of the challenge so far? It's not really been tough at the moment. I guess the toughest part is exercise, because the challenge isn't thin by 40, it's fit by 40. And I think the diet, nutrition, weight loss side of things is going as well as I possibly could have hoped for. But I'm still kind of on the starting blocks when it comes to actually improving fitness and health, because I'm really limited by what I can do. I'm still at home with Andy all day, every day. Even if he got a school place now, the schools are closed, so I can't go out because he's always here. Even if the school's opened and he could go back to them, the gyms are closed, so I can't. You know, there's all these things stopping me from doing the kind of exercise that I know I'll stick to. I'm not going to go out for a run. I'm not going to go out for a bike ride. I know I don't enjoy doing that, so it won't become a habit because I don't enjoy doing it. What I enjoy is going to the gym and lifting weights. That's what I want to be able to do. I can't do it at the moment, and there's no room in our house for me to fit any home workout stuff in. So I'm pretty much limited to half an hour a day, or more. I say I'm limited. I'm not limited to half an hour a day. I could do 5 hours a day if I wanted to, but I'm limited to using my little under the desk pedaling thing. I'm making sure I do it for half an hour a day every day. That's pretty much all the exercise I'm getting, other than the odd walk here and there. So it's real slow progress on the exercise side of things, but I'm considering that more because of the circumstances rather than it being me struggling with it. It's just the fact it doesn't work at the moment because of what's going on in the world. And I know from where I was this time last year, that if the world just snapped back to normal just like that, and Andy was at school and everywhere was open, I'd be in the gym Monday morning and I'd go every day this week. And I know I would, because I love doing it and I want to get back into doing it as soon as I can. So that bit needs to catch up. That's the struggle at the moment, finding an exercise that I'll enjoy and do every day that I can do at the moment is proving pretty close to impossible. What triggered me to start doing the challenge? Realizing that I was nearly 40 is the easy answer. The less straightforward answer, I guess, the one that, I guess, seeing people who I look up to and respect who are about my age starting to die in the last 6 months or so. And we've had Chadwick Boseman, who was a couple of years older than me, die from an illness that I'm quite at risk for, because it's the same thing that killed my mum. Seeing Brody Lee die, a couple of years older than me, kind of just like that. It's just made me, I guess, it took a superhero and a wrestler to die at about my age for me to kind of think, okay, I'm not 18 anymore. I do need to start thinking in terms of how long do I plan on living for and how can I make that as long as possible, because I am now reaching the age where, as shown by those couple of examples, I could just die and I'd rather not. So the easiest way to avoid that is to make sure that I get healthy. And I like a catchphrase. I like a catchy title. I like a challenge. So seeing that in order for me to be my healthy BMI weight by my 40th birthday, I had to average 2 pounds a week weight loss between the start and then, it just all fit together mathematically as well. It was a nice, neat fit. And it was like, well, it's now or never then. And that's the goal. Get down to that weight by my 40th birthday, bring the health and fitness and everything up along with it, and hopefully be less likely to just drop dead in my early 40s. Have I ever heard of anyone doing this challenge before I started it? As far as I'm aware, and I haven't Googled it, so I don't know, I made it up. If I didn't make it up, then no, I've never heard of anyone else doing it. And I'm going to continue to claim I made it up. But it's so catchy, it probably is a thing that already exists. But I'm not that interested in seeing how other people get on with it. So no, I've not heard of anyone else doing it. Would I consider a personal trainer once gyms are open and I can attend? I don't see the point, to be honest. I don't really see how it would benefit me. I as with anything, run a quick cost-benefit analysis. They're really expensive, and I don't think they're going to offer me anything that I can't already get using a bit of research and a few apps and my own brain. I certainly don't need someone motivating me. I hate all that. I can motivate myself, and I don't really need someone who doesn't understand me as well as I know me to tell me what I can and can't do. So I can come up with my own plan and I'll be fine. What I would probably do every now and again is maybe check in with one of the trainers in the gym just to check that I'm doing certain exercises correctly, because I hurt my back last year deadlifting because I've never been shown how to deadlift. I can't see myself deadlifting, so I don't know if I'm doing it right. So I guess a session or two just to say, yeah, you need to adjust your stance slightly when you're doing this. That kind of thing might be helpful. But I'm not going to go and get someone else to train with me every day or tell me what to do. As the reason I'm self-employed is because I don't like being told what to do. And I'm certainly not going to pay someone to tell me what to do. Can I still drink fizzy drinks? Yeah. I can eat or drink whatever I want, as long as over the course of a 7-day period, it balances out on my calorie deficit. A Diet Coke has no calories in. I know it's got stuff in that's not great. I know in an ideal world I cut down on that, but pick your battles. If I try and do everything all in one go, I'm going to fail at all of it. I'm pretty confident I can operate on this calorie deficit long term. But if I start restricting what I can eat as part of it, then it becomes something I start resenting. At the moment, I'm not resenting it. I've had what are we, nearly 3 weeks in? I've had McDonald's, I've had fish and chips, I've had a Nando's, we've had a Chinese takeaway. So I'm averaging more than one takeaway a week there. That's some impressive work. But I'm losing weight. I'm operating on a calorie deficit. I'm drinking my fizzy pops. I'm having treats if I want them. I'm just making sure it all fits into the plan. And if I have a Chinese, like we did this week, then I'll make up for it over the next couple of days. I'm not going to cut out my fizzy drinks because I like them. And my priority at the moment is losing weight. Once I've lost the weight, my priority might be, right, let's stop putting those chemicals in my body and really nail down and work on the fitness and health a little bit more. But at the moment, the priority is lose the weight, and they ain't stopping me lose the weight. So I'm going to keep drinking them because they're delicious. Do you find it hard to sleep on an empty stomach? I find it really hard to sleep and concentrate on anything. I think I'm almost the opposite. I find it really difficult to fall asleep when I'm full. There have been moments of the dark moments over the years where we got into a habit for months. Kind of this time last year, I guess, of when we'd finish the podcast, we'd get a late night takeaway. It couldn't have been this time last year because this is when we were on the health kick. It was just after lockdown started. We'd finish recording our podcast on a Friday night, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then we'd order a pizza, or we'd order kebabs, or we'd order burgers, or my garlic mushrooms that I love so much. And I would always find it hard to sleep after that because I struggle going to sleep on a full stomach. So I think I'm probably lucky in that I'm the opposite. If I'm a little bit hungry when I go to bed, I fall to sleep much easier. And the concentration thing, I think I'm getting more work done at a higher quality in the mornings now than I ever have. I'm actually finding it easier to concentrate and focus in the mornings because I'm not having that mid-morning slump when the sugar rush wears off. I just get up, have a cup of coffee, sit at my desk, crack on with my work through until lunchtime, and I make sure my lunch during the week when I'm working is a very carefully macro balanced lunch. I'm still having my Huel every day, and it means that I'm not then having the sugar high and the energy slump after lunch either. So I'm kind of on a pretty constant level, energy, focus, concentration level all day long now, which I don't know that I've ever been there before, but I am so far ahead on my work at the moment. I am getting so much more done. I feel more efficient and than I have in years. It's awesome. And I think the fasting's really helping with that. Will I do Weight Watchers again, as that seemed to work last year? No, I won't do Weight Watchers again. I won't do Weight Watchers. I won't do Slimming World. The more I learn about them, the more I realise that stuff like that isn't designed to help you lose weight. It's designed to help those companies make money. And without going too deep down this rabbit hole, because I think I'm probably going to do it as a video further down the line. So let me know down in the comments if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure at this point, and I realise for a lot of you this is no revelation, but I'm pretty sure at this point the likes of Slimming World and Weight Watchers are designed purely to make you carry on paying money to Slimming World and Weight Watchers. They teach you how to lose weight following their program, but they don't actually teach you how to eat healthily and improve your relationship with food. So what it means is you'll lose a lot of weight doing Weight Watchers, doing Slimming World, but as soon as you stop doing them, you'll put the weight back on again. And it trains your brain to think, well, I need that to lose weight. So you then go back and give them some more money. You lose some more weight. You stop doing it again. You put the weight back on, and you end up in a cycle where, because every time you're putting it back on, you're putting on more than you lost as well. And the first time I did Weight Watchers, I was probably about 16 stone. And the most recent time I did Weight Watchers, I was about 23 stone. I'm now about 24 stone. And I do wonder how much I would weigh today if I'd never tried things like juice fasts, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, Atkins diet, keto, 5-2, or like if I'd have never tried any of that, would I have just been sat here 16 stone still thinking a bit overweight, I'm not that bothered? I blame my current state on all the attempts I've had to lose weight over the years, because every time you lose weight, you crash diet down. It wrecks your metabolism a little bit. So when you put the weight back on, you put on more than you had to begin with, and you end up in that cycle. If I got a graph of my history on my weight history on MyFitnessPal, we put that up there now, you can see it's a constant, steady weight loss followed by a jump up to higher than the previous starting point. And then that's the pattern I've been on for years. And I blame stuff like Weight Watchers for that pattern. So no, I am never going back to Weight Watchers. This question I'm including, even though I've already kind of answered it, but I'm including it because I think it might be a misconception of what I'm looking to do. What food am I not allowed to eat in this Fit by 40 thing, and how long do I have left? I'm allowed to eat whatever I want, and I'm going to be doing it forever. Well, until I'm 40, I guess. But it's not like I'm doing a 6-week challenge to lose as much weight as possible. It's Fit by 40 is a catchy name for it, and I want to have lost weight by my 40th birthday, but I don't want to be fat again by the time I'm 41. The idea is I want to get down to a healthy weight and stay there. So I can eat whatever I want, but I'm going to try and eat it in moderation, eat less of the bad stuff, more of the good stuff, exercise a little bit more, and do it for the rest of my life, which hopefully will be another 50 years or more. That's the goal. That's the plan. Have you been able to think of any strategies to put in place to prevent the weight loss mission going off the rails like your previous ones did? Have I been able to identify what went wrong those times? I've thought about this a lot over the last few weeks, and I think the most recent one, like this time last year, is different to all the ones that came before. All the ones that came before, I think what went wrong there was I was starving myself too much to the point where I ended up binging. And, you know, it became unsustainable. I'm eating too little. I got too hungry. So I might have lost 20 or 30 pounds, but got to the point where I couldn't starve myself like that anymore, and then just started eating and put the weight back on. That's what went wrong with them. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I didn't really do that last year, although I did try a month on Weight Watchers. I also tried a month on Slimming World. I tried lots of different things. And I was being quite analytical with how I was reviewing them. And I think my mindset was spot on last year. And I think if it hadn't have been for the pandemic, I would be a lot lighter and a lot healthier now than I am. And it just became a thing where there's only so much I can focus on in my head at one point, and I was really focused on the health stuff at the start of the year, but then the other stuff kind of took over. Me and Anna were really sick around April, May time, and that's kind of where things went off the rails. We got sick and we never really got back into good habits after being sick. When the gyms closed, that was a big blow for me. Then it started to become difficult to get hold of food, so we couldn't do our nice, healthy shopping stuff anymore because we kind of had to get what we were given. We had a good month, 6 week spell where we were surviving off of those Morrison's pre-packaged boxes, which are full of things like white bread and sugary and salty sauces and all these kind of things that we weren't really eating before. We were forced back into old habits by circumstances. And then when the world started to recover a little bit, we just kind of stayed back in the bad habits again and let it get out of hand. So I don't plan on letting that happen this time. I think in my mind now, this is a higher priority than that stuff. And hopefully I can not get sick this year and not get to the point where we can't buy healthy food or anything. It's one of the reasons I've gone down the route of Huel and Gusto, because they're going to be constants that I can definitely get. So that's one of the reasons behind that thought process. I'm not going to have to go and hunt around 5 different shops to try and find a cauliflower. And yes, I did try and do that when I was really trying last year. There was no cauliflowers for a while. I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, I think last year was just bad luck. Sounds like an excuse, but bad luck, bad timing. But I think my mindset has been good for over a year now. At least when I've been thinking about it. And I think we'll be good. I'm feeling good about it this time. I'm feeling different than I have done before. There's so much conflicting advice about what makes up a good or a bad diet. How do I decide what healthy looks like for me? By really going back to basics and ignoring all of the waffle. My theory is if the advice is coming from someone who's trying to make money off of you, then it's probably bad advice. So if it's part of a subscription like Slimming World or Weight Watchers, bad advice. If it's part of a best-selling fad diet book, probably bad advice. If it's coming from health professionals and is freely available on the internet, that's probably the good advice. And the good advice tends to be operate in a calorie deficit and maybe track your macros as well. Tracking macros is probably a good idea. Just make sure that I'm not eating 80% of my daily calorie allowance as sugar and fat. So keep an eye on where my protein is, where my fat is, where my carbs is. Keep an eye on making sure I'm in a calorie deficit, and just make sure that I'm taking in less than I'm burning, and what I'm taking in is a pretty decent balance of the stuff that my body needs. It's really simple. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Anything more complicated has been deliberately complicated to make it seem like it's justified in charging you money for it. So I'm not interested in that. And that, boys and girls, brings us to the end of the Q&A. If there's any questions, burning questions that you have that I've not answered as part of this video, let me know down in the comments. I'm not against doing another one of these question and answer sessions, maybe a month or two down the line, and we can maybe revisit some of them, maybe spin some of these out into larger videos on their own. If there's something particularly controversial that I've said in here that could become a video in its own right. But yeah, that's a summary of my thoughts on all of the things that you lot have been asking me a lot. So from now on, if those questions get asked, expect to have me direct you back to the relevant point of this video. And if that's how you came to this video, hi, how you doing? Hope you stick around, watch the whole video, watch the other content on the channel too. It's a fun place to hang out. But for now, I am going to disappear. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Like I keep saying, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on. I want lots of you involved and joining me on my journey. And thank you very much for watching.